guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, welcome to my channel. My name is Alexa, and today I will be talking to you guys about the 20 books I want to read in May. I almost said September, but it's not at all September. This is a very ambitious TBR since finals is this month, but I'm ending school next Thursday. So like school is ending next Thursday for me, so I'll be able to binge read after that all I want. And also 20 books is also very ambitious, but it is because I want to give myself choices. I know I most likely will not stick to this TBR like what happens every month, but last month I actually did really well with my TBR. I read like 7 books out of my 20 book TBR. Like, who is she? She is a changed woman, you know? I mean, let's see if me being an adult now, because I'm 18, like, I'm officially an adult. Let's see if me being an adult changes that. Let's see if I'm responsible and I stick to my TBR. So yeah, let's get into this video. Now start talking about the 20 books that I want to read. So let's start with the ebooks, which is basically, as you know, we've been through this before. It's when I just don't have the book with me and I just tell you guys about them while just popping this image up on my screen. So first we have A Touch of Darkness by Scarlett Sinclair. I started that one back in April in a video where I talked about where I had a self-care day. I think for once I think I might actually get it. Like, I think it's here. Like the pop-up thing, I'll try to pop that video up in here so you guys can watch it if you want to. It's basically a Hades Persephone's retelling. It's a book with it's a book in a series, and the first 2 books on Kindle Unlimited, so I was like, well, why not start it? After that, we have The Distraction by, I can't remember what the name of the author is, but I know that it's the same author as the playlist that just came out. It's the first book in the series that has the playlist, and I was like, I want to read the playlist, but I need to read all the other books in the series before, because the playlist apparently has like a ton of Taylor Swift references, and I will read anything Taylor Swift related, so I really wanted to read that book. Not wanted. After that, we have Fair Catch, but I think it's by Candy Steiner, because I want to read the second book in that series of The Blind Side, because I've read and heard so many good things about it. So I was like, why not also start the series? I know I put this in my TBR last month and I didn't read it because I'm me and I don't stick to my TBR because I'm a major mood reader, but we'll see what happens with that book. After that, we have If He Had Been With Me, which is a extremely sad book, but I want to read a sad book because I haven't read a sad book in like forever. So I was like, well, why not, you know? And I had a friend who read it and told me it kind of gave like apparently it has like the same, like a kind of like a love triangle like in Twilight. I don't know, that's what she told me. So I was like, why not? Because I loved Twilight when I originally read it back in 2021. Yes, I know I read it when I was still in like, I mean, I was in high school, but like I know a lot of people read it in middle school. I did not. I read it in like my second to last year of high school. After that, we have Brutal Prince by Sophie Lark. I want to get into Sophie Lark's writing because I'm a dark romance girly, and apparently that series is like a mafia romance series, and my friend read it and said it's absolutely unhinged, but in the best way. And I love books that are unhinged in the best way because I'm unhinged. But yeah, and now for I think that is the last ebook. It's an ARC. It's coming out on May 16th. You guys most likely will know the author of this book. I literally almost screamed when I saw what book I got accepted for. It is True Love Experiment, I think that's the name of the book, by Christina Lauren. Guys, I was accepted for a Christina Lauren book. I still cannot believe it. My mind is blown. I have not gotten over that, and it's been over a month. I have so many arcs to read. One as well that it's by the guy who played in like a Will and Grace, but he played like the best friend of the guy. I don't know, like Sean something. That's the name of like the one of the authors, and I got accepted for that arc. Now for the physical books. First we have the third book in the Magnus Chase series. So it's Magnus Chase and the Gods of Asgard, and the name of the book is The Ship of the Dead. I think it came out yesterday, the first book, the new book in the universe, the one with Nico and Will, and I cannot wait to read this one. I love this universe. This is actually what got me into like intense reading, like the universe, because before I used to be like, well, sorry for the thing that just shook. I have my tripod on my desk and I accidentally punched my desk. But basically back in like 2021, I was reading it. 2020, I was reading a bit. Like I got into reading in April, but then in like August I started reading the Percy Jackson universe and binge read that entire thing in like a few weeks. Like the first 3 series. No, the first 2 series, and then I read another series a bit later on during that year. Sorry for I keep ranting in this video. I'm sorry for how long this video is gonna be. After that we have All the Light We Cannot See by Anthony Doerr. This one is on my TBR because I saw that it's getting turned into a movie with one of the many loves of my life. The guy, Mark Ruffalo. I forgot Mark Ruffalo's name. But yeah, the one and only Mark Ruffalo, one of my many husbands and wives. So I want to watch the movie because he's in it, but I want to have read the book before. And I know this is technically a fall book and we're about to start summer, so I mean, I don't care, honestly. At this point, I don't even care that it's a fall book and it's summer. But the next book is very summer-y, and it is the second summer of the Sisterhood in the series, the Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants? I don't know. I just know that I read the first one the first one in May last year. Most likely won't continue the series after this one, but I got it at my library for like 50 cents. Well, I had for like $1, I got the first 2 books. And I loved the movie when I read it, when I watched it when I was young. So I was like, well, why not buy them? And now I have other books on my TBR that I have not read. Basically, I honestly kind of just stuck most of my a bunch of physical TBR books in this month because I want to finish my physical TBR. After that, we have The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas. I watched the movie for this one in class a year and a half, and I loved it. I just never got past the first like 50 pages of this book, so I might listen to it as an audiobook and then like switch between the book and the audiobook every now and then, or I might do what I honestly do very often. I start with the audiobook, I listen to the first few hours on audiobook, and then I finish by reading the physical book, which I did with 5 Feet Apart and Crazy Rich Asians. That is one of my many ways on how I read books from a physical TBR that have been there for years. After that, we have another sad book, and it is Goodbye Days by Jeff Zentner. I never even knew the name of this author. I only knew that it started with a Z because I used to like organize my bookshelf alphabetically. But yeah, I have this one. Apparently it's very sad. As you can tell, I have a lot of early like book talk books on this TBR because a lot of books I bought in 2020 and just never read. Like this one I've had since like June 2020, and I need to finish my physical TBR because I have way too many books on it. Well, no, I don't have way too many books on it, but I have too many books that I've been avoiding to read, and not because I don't want to read them, just because, I don't know. After that, we have Hamilton and Peggy by L.M. Eliot. It's a book about Alexander Hamilton and Peggy and their friendship. I'm a huge Hamilton fan. I've been a Hamilton fan for over 8 years now. Like, before the album even came out, I was a fan. And I bought this because I was like, I'm a Hamilton fan. I need to have all the Hamilton books I can get on my hands. And I have 4. 2 of them I read, 2 of them I don't. 2 of them I haven't. There's others I've like put on my wish list, I think, or something. But after that, we have All for One by Melissa de la Cruz. It's the last book in the Alex and Eliza trilogy. It's signed. Actually, technically 2 copies of this book. one that my mom bought for me when she was at the bookstore. She's like, oh look, I know you have the first 2 books in this series, and I found this one signed, but I was in class so I didn't see. She was like, oh, I bought it for you, like you can get it for Christmas or something. And then a few years ago I had bought the first one, and not the first one, this one, but somewhere I cannot remember, so I have this one. I read the first book in 2020, the second book earlier this year, and then now I'm gonna read this one. After that, I'm gonna hide the little like thing for my library that says the town where I live. After that, we have Looking for Alaska by John Green. This is the last John Green that I'm missing to read all the John Green books I want to read someday. I don't own it, but it's on my library, and I was like, why not? And I want to watch the show, but I want to read the book before watching the show, so I was like, let's just read it because it's literally right there. After that, we have another book from my library, and it's The Hunger Games. I know I'm reading a lot of books this month that I would have read in like middle school if I was a huge reader in middle school. I already have the second book in the series that my friend gave me for Christmas one year, so the second book is also on my physical TBR, so I'll be able to, if I want to continue the series, I'll be able to like have read it and shorten my physical TBR. Also, there's the Hunger Game Resurgence that has made me want to read it. After that, we have another middle school-ish book, and it is Divergent by Veronica Roth. This one I found like a little free library. A few years ago, I had bought like at a thrift store, I had bought the fourth one, I don't know, Allegiant. And I never ended up getting the first few books, and then I found this one in a little free library, and I was like, let me take it so I can read it and read the other book. Also, just because I love 2012 dystopian novels. After this next book, you're just gonna be surprised that it's on my physical TBR. Not on my physical TBR. You're not gonna be surprised that it's on my physical TBR, but you're gonna be surprised that I actually put it in a TBR because it's a classic, and I don't usually read classics, as you may know. And it is Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. This one is like a romance, so it's a romance classic, so I was like, well, why not? I love romance, and I want to read I want to watch the Keira Knightley movie, and I want to like read the book before, so I was like, let's just finally read it. And it's gonna be summer, like I'm gonna be wanting to read outside. I don't even know if that sentence made any sense, but yeah, I'm gonna read it probably. Alright, next we have Anne of Greenville by Mariko Tamaki. This is probably the second or third month it's been on my TBR in a row. I got this one at like the half price thing, like hardcovers at Barnes & Noble around Christmas time, and I bought it because I love the cover. It's so pretty, and I'd heard of it, and I'm like 20 pages in the book. Oh, I didn't put a bookmark, but it's like huge writing, like nothing like it's huge, especially compared to the next book on my TBR, like the writing. So I want to read it, and apparently it's sapphic, and I want to read a sapphic book. Alright, next we have a book that I'm currently like almost, where's my, okay, I thought I had lost my bookmark, but I'm like a third of the way through, and it is Binding 13 by Chloe Walsh. What I meant by it's nothing compared to the next book is that's how small the writing is, and there's like 600 pages in this book, but I'm absolutely loving it. I'm in love with Johnny Kavanagh, and yeah, this made me want to watch rugby. Yesterday I was in a pub for my 18th birthday, and I was like, oh my god, it's kind of like if I was in Binding 13 or whatever, and the Boys of Tommen series, and I was fangirling for some reason. But yeah, I am loving this book. It is so good. I'm like 212 pages in out of like 600. Next we have another book that's been on my TBR forever, and that I'm currently reading, but I don't have I'll probably restart because I don't have a bookmark, and I can't really remember where, I was in the first 30 pages, I think. And that is Kiss the Sky by Krista and Becca Ritchie. I love the Addicted / Calloway Sisters universe, and next month Hot House Flower is coming out in paperback by Berkeley Romance, and if you know, I'm a big fan of most Berkeley Romance novels. I just have a lot of them on my bookshelf, like all Emily Henry books, well, the Emily Henry Holy Trinity, and other books. But yeah, I really hope to read this one so I can read Reagan Daisy's book next month. After that, we have a reread, which, by the way, it's the last book on my TBR, and it's a reread, and I want to annotate it, and it is Funny You Should Ask by Elisa Sussman. I know that the male main character was based on, like, Chris Evans, and I'm in love with Chris Evans, and I'm delusional that I'm gonna marry him someday, so I thought, why not reread a book that's kind of like just a writer having an interview with a celebrity. I don't want to be a writer, but I was like, oh my god, imagine if I'm like, I don't know, invited like Emma Chamberlain to do interviews with celebrities, and I get to interview Chris Evans, and then he falls in love with me, and then we get married. But yeah, those were, sorry for that fake scenario, those were the 20 books I want to read in May. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please consider liking, commenting, subscribing to this channel. I'm sorry for how chaotic this video was. I don't know what's going on with my brain today, but it's been absolute chaos and is going 50 million miles an hour. But yeah, if you enjoyed the chaoticness, don't worry, most of my videos are actually chaotic like this, so you can stay and watch most of my videos, and it will be, well, after like most videos since like the month of December, and it will be this chaotic. So yeah, I hope you have a nice rest of your day, morning, evening, whatever time it is for you guys. So yeah, bye.